I'm as fat as a newborn baby.
I think I'm going to wear glasses so we look the same.
Look at us, bald people. Grow the beard, bitch.
How are you, buddy?
Ain't good. How you doing, sir?
Oh, great.
Oh, what happened to the glasses? That went over, so all right.
No, I can't. I was going to say, I have come to terms with being a blind photographer.
Is there a song like that? Blind man. Sorry.
Blind
It's
photographer.
an Aerosmith.
Oh, do the intro. Go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Moe and O Photo Show. My name is Moe Morales.
And I'm Omar Gonzalez.
And we're here to talk about photo, tech tips, and anything else we want about. Because, as I always say when I do the intro, this is our show. And we thank you for coming, though, and spending some time with us.
Absolutely. And we have a bunch of gear on the table here because Gear Talk gets views.
Click, son. Click it.
Clickbait it up. Oh, all you have to do is put the title of each of these things in there, and we get a billion views.
1 billion views.
All right, let me test you here. Which one of these items would get the most attention or clicks?
So it would either be the 85G,
the Sony 85G Master,
or that's it. On this table, that's it.
I would argue the Fuji XT30 is a little hot right now, a little hot. And that's out there. I currently am on borrow with B&H borrow, and I'm testing that. I have all the Fujis out here because I'm working on a video on which one should you get. And I think I'm going to say right now, to answer everyone, I can't tell you what camera to buy.
You can't. You know why? It's my money. That's number one.
That's number one.
Number two, you might think this is the greatest thing since the creation of life itself. And then the minute I pick it up, I'm like, this is clunky, crappy, doesn't like the way it feels in my hands.
Yeah.
So that's why we can tell you what the camera does, how it works for us. And ultimately, though, you need to go pick it up, take it out for a spin, and if you have to, pay the $45 restocking fee when you bring it back in, because not every camera is built for everybody.
Yeah. And you don't know how many sentences start with message, hey, Omar, I love your stuff. Which should I get?
Tell me now. You tell me now. It's the only reason I
Should I just start telling people?
No, don't lie to them.
For example, the Fuji XT30, which is brand new, is a tiny camera. Tiny, right? $899. You like $899?
Not for $899.
That's what I'm saying, right? The Fuji XT2, last year's flagship, you know how much?
$899.
$899.
All right, I'd rather hold this in my hand.
Right?
Yeah.
Having them in your hand. This is weather sealed, dual card slot, can shoot a wedding with. This is a fun, travel, powerful, mind you, powerful little video camera, photo camera. But hey, someone may say, screw you, that has slower autofocus for sports. This has better autofocus for sports. So this is the camera for me for $899. You know how much the Fuji XT20 is now?
$799.
$599.
Ooh, nice new grip on there.
Yeah, you saw that video. So what do you think now? Like, right, this camera is more worth it. $599, powerful street camera.
Definitely, especially because their lens lineup is becoming very impressive.
Yeah, it's small, compact, great for travel. So I love the Fuji line, but I can't tell you which camera to buy. I give you some advice, but really, even if I steer you in one of the directions, it could be completely wrong.
Remember we talked about this a few weeks ago where we said people ask us the question with an answer already in their mind. I mean, they're telling us, hey, Omar, which Fuji should I buy? I'm like, well, you should actually pick up the A6400 by Sony. But
No! Actually, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, no.
No, no, no.
Look what I was going to buy that Omar didn't let me buy. So
I present with you the Sony A6400. Hey, where'd it go?
Oh, I just ate too much. That's all that happened here.
How'd that get under your sweatshirt? So the A6400. Ah, you like that surprise, huh? It's for you, actually.
What? Don't play my head. He's so hurtful.
Sucker!
That's just so hurtful.
That is hurtful. No, I ended up just picking it up because, remember I told you to pick stuff up, what do I need to do? Justify it. I was shooting my videos and setting up this screen and the microphone. I said, forget it. I need something with a flip out screen. And the Fuji XT30 is always versus the 6400. So I think I want to test those two out as well.
That's awesome. I'm not jealous, angry at all inside. There's no turmoil. I don't feel anything.
This is a test.
I'm numb.
This is a test. Do you think you need this camera?
Yes, I do. No, actually, you know what? Today, driving around, coming up with, what should we talk about, this, that, and the other, I was justifying the need for this one or a small Fuji.
Oh, yeah.
Because I need a camera that's not my work camera to take with me to places, so I can enjoy myself with a light, powerful camera that, will be my fun camera.
Yeah, I think your
I don't have a fun camera right now.
I was going to say your issue is that you do need the greatest and newest. I don't think you would be happy getting, like, let's say, for example, an old X100S or maybe the A6000.
No.
Right?
No, I got rid of the A6300 with the expectations that I was going to bring this one into the stable sooner or later. Hello in my mouth. I love this delicious mic.
You know what happens with Moe? He starts talking and then he wavers and then he goes so far away from the microphone, and when I have to edit, I scream. Talk into the damn microphone.
So, as I was saying,
thank you.
I was going to buy this once.
I'm sorry, don't touch it too much. Thank you.
Once it came out, I was going to buy this because that's the reason I got rid of the A6300, so I could get ready to buy this thing. And then I just had, for the first time in my life, don't buy it remorse. Like, dude, you buy everything. Stop.
I know. I was proud of you last week, and now I'm like torturing you.
So it's probably already like mentally, I've already clicked the button. Amazon's already saying like, Mo, we got you. It's on its way.
No, but why not pick up for $599 a Fuji XT20?
Because for $599, I'm going to spend more on a lens. I don't have any Fuji lenses.
I think it may be $599 with the kit lens.
I don't want no damn kit lens.
See what I'm saying, man? You got a lot of hang-ups.
Do you want a kit lens?
I love the kit lens. No joke.
Well, I think, isn't there two kit lenses? One is better than the other?
Yeah, there's one that's tiny and is plasticky and small, which is kind of like what this one comes with. I got the body only. Did I get the body? Oh, no, I got the lens on it.
With the 16 and 15
Yeah.
zoom?
Well, how is that lens?
It's not garbage. It's just not,
Yeah.
It's a kit lens. You get exactly what you, great video with the kit lens because it's stable. And I have this nice, when I went to New Orleans, and I just took a video of a tram and the trolley, and I was like, that is smooth,
nice.
buttery,
4K
man.
or
yeah,
just
well, no, it was 1080.
Wow, even 1080 is good.
Yeah, and it was like, wow.
Well, we're going to use this for this show. So the other reason I got it is because the no record time. So this camera, we plug it into power, and if our card is big enough, we'll have one huge file of 40 minutes, which is what we usually record, and then trim down all our mistakes to 25 minutes.
We don't make mistakes.
That's right.
That's his first mistake, is thinking he made a mistake.
Oh, yeah. This show's going straight. No edits.
Jump.
So I justified it for that. But really, the flip-out screen, I'm going to do more live streams as well on my channel. And this camera will work great for a live stream. I could see myself. I can look at the computer and chat with people while I have a small desktop setup.
What lens are you going to run with it? This one right here?
This one for the longest. And the other thing is, if I back up a little, I could use the Tamron
no hood
2875.
No hood. That's what I'm seeing a lot of vloggers complaining about right now, because obviously I've been all into this camera's booty.
Don't vlog in the hood.
Don't vlog in the hood, because first of all, you won't leave with your camera. You may not leave with your life, son. Run it. Give me all of it.
Vlogging in the hood.
Because this little hood lump here could be enough to block some of the... So depending on what lens you're using and the size of the hood, it could block the screen.
Oh, the screen. That's what it blocks. Yeah. One of the other issues with this camera was that if you put a microphone on, it will block the screen as well. But I got a little cage that's coming, a little small rig cage, which makes the microphone come out over here.
And there's no headphone input.
There is.
There is?
Yeah, 3.5.
Isn't there something missing? Either
no headphone jack, so you can't monitor your audio.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
What did I say? That's what I meant to say. There's no headphone.
Maybe you did say headphone. I'd have to replay that, Bob.
No, and there's no headphone input.
There is. Our producer will... You said headphone, and in my mind, I thought microphone. Yeah.
Because you're always talking about the DJ, microphone checker 1 2. What is this?
Yeah. So I also bought a Manfrotto arm. Actually, I don't know if it's Manfrotto, but you put a super clamp on your desk and you can have arms. So my goal is to have arms where I could just click the camera on.
That's what's funny here is that he pointed at the off-screen folks, like if you could see it.
Yeah, I don't care about you guys. I'm talking to Mo here.
Oh yeah, there it is. Nice, so pretty.
All right, so talking about gear, I find this the most intriguing right here. Can you explain what's going on here?
So Sony,
Give me this.
Sony being Sony, my history with Sony. Okay, I used to love Panasonic televisions. I used to love
Panasonic cameras even. I had a
no.
little
I'm talking about my whole history with Panasonic. I used to work at Best Buy. I was one of the millions of trolls that worked in Best Buys 1,000 years ago, and I loved my job at Best Buy. I knew a lot about TVs, technology, and that's why we started the show. That's the only reason. No kidding. And so what happened is I used to love what you got for the price from Toshiba, from Panasonic. Sony was always ridiculously expensive.
Too expensive.
Granted, their picture quality was amazing. When they came out the Vega, spelled
the Grand
W,
Vega,
right? And they came with the first flat television
50
screen.
inchers.
Yeah, and that was like, they were game changers and they were awesome. They weren't worth the difference though.
Yeah,
I mean,
even till this day.
That's where I was going to. That's where I was leading to my history with Sony. So I find that they make exceptional products, but the price difference between what they're giving you and what the competition is giving you, yes, I do believe they can charge a little more.
Yeah.
A little more. Not $400 more, $1,000 more. So what we have on this table here is an 85 millimeter 1.8, right? Right about $580, brand new. I bought this for about $499 used. Then
Next to it,
I need help here picking this up here.
get the crane.
Then you have the 85 millimeter 1.4 G Master. Now, the quality difference between this and this is not $1,700.
It's crazy.
It is. There is a difference in quality. Yes. The bokeh balls are a little better here.
Little better.
Get a little sharper in some stops than here, but it's not. The price difference between these two lenses, it's not realistic. This is $2,300, $2,100.
This is crazy expensive. And by the way, this is a borrow. Thank you to B&H. We're doing tests with it. B&H let us borrow it. But the other thing is, like, I think we're moving towards smaller, lighter, stronger. So why would you want something this heavy?
So remember, if anyone's been watching this show for a while, they know, or listening to this podcast for a while, they know the reason I let go of my wonderful Nikon D850 was because
size,
it was heavy, the weight, it was wearing me out. I have enough, health issues that it just really, after carrying it for an event for just 4 hours or 8 hours, I was completely done by the end of the day. So I went to a lighter mirrorless setup, which I'm very happy with the change, but when I've never seen this lens in person until I saw it
when
today.
It came, I was like,
and then when I picked it up, I almost really had to go back with my second hand because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to drop this heavy thing. So if you put this on in front of my 64 A60 A7 III, I got all these A's in my head. In front of my A7 III, it's going to be like,
it is top heavy.
And if I put it around my neck, it's going to be like giving me like welts in the back of my neck,
Let me get it while you talk.
So, I mean, I get it. Someone's paying you the money. You're going to take the money.
But I think, sorry, I was going to go back to Nikon has it and Canon has it as well. Their Canon's L series lenses have a prestige about them. And I think that's why they can get away with charging so much, because this has the label, the G Master label. And don't you know how, like, one of the theories of how to become an amazing popular photographer is to charge too much? That people will pay because it is a lot?
He's charging me $10,000 for
Damn,
a
we better
boudoir
get
section.
him,
He must
right?
be the man.
So
I think
companies know that. Companies know that if they price bracket certain things, I mean, it is an amazing lens.
Take out the filter.
The adapter, you mean?
Actually, when I was looking, we'll talk about that in a second. I'll bring this up in a second. But I mean, look at this thing. This is
actually, with this extra grip, it feels pretty okay.
It doesn't feel as heavy as I thought it was going to be. This extra grip does balance it better. But let's try it with mine. I leave my camera downstairs. Never mind.
Oh well, let's try with the Sony the 1.5,
which it weighs like 1.5 ounces basically.
Wow. This is crazy great. This is just perfect.
And
the 85 1.8 on the Sony A7 III feels amazing.
And I've never taken a photo with this lens and been like, wow, I wish it was crispier, or I wish I was somewhere else, or I wish I had the more expensive lens. See, that's the thing with Sony lenses.
It feels great. Feel that.
I have yet. Oh,
damn, you need that grip, brother.
yeah, I need to buy this grip.
Well, what we're talking about is the Sony A7 III doesn't have a great hand grip, but if you get this little Mikey extra grip, Sony sells one, but again, expensive.
$89,000.
$129.
Oh my god!
So this one's $50, and I have it on all the time. You can't get to the battery easily, but it gives the A7 III such a nice feel.
It feels good in the hands, ladies.
Oh yeah,
Flossy Carter line. But no, I mean, is it really worth? Just tell me why you would pay that much more for this lens.
I would just say
so that you could prove that you're a better photographer.
Well,
you have it.
Well, here's one thing: if you back up from your subject and you shoot things at 1.4, I mean, we're talking 1.8 to 1.4. Really, the only reason to get this lens is that you have a specific look. I'm talking people who even in Photoshop will bokeh up their background even more. Right. You know, this is a technique that some photographers use. They'll shoot something at 135 or 200, and it's 2.8, and they want to make it a 1.1. In Photoshop, you can cut out the person and even blur more. So I think if someone's look is this, if you back up from your subject and you want them full body with bokeh, this guy can do it pretty much just about that much better. Not enough to justify, but for certain people, yes.
And I get it. I get people want to have the best that's available. What's it say about me as a photographer if I'm happy with what I have with this 1.8?
I think it says that you are, budget conscious, that you can rock out something that makes more sense weight wise, and there's something about value, bang for your buck.
If you watch any of the reviews on the Tamron 28 to 75,
great lens,
and then you compare it to the G Master 24 to 70,
yeah,
you're falling off. But again, it's you have to find that level of acceptance.
The biggest hang up is the 24 to 28. Like the difference between 24 and I that's the only bad thing about this lens is it doesn't go wider.
Right. And Omar and I were talking about it, but people don't realize that those 4 millimeters at the wide range makes a big difference.
Heck yeah!
I mean, you could fit like 3 extra people and Aunt Betty in that picture. Especially after the second taco on Tuesday.
Oh my god!
So,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm excited about Tamron's next lens, which is their 17 to 28, because I shoot mostly wide. That's my way to shoot. So this does not go wide enough, and that's the hang up when I'm working and. Let's say it's entrances. This would totally work for entrances until the people are a foot away from me.
Right.
And that's where my wide lens comes in, because I love showing the emotion of like I'm really low and I'm seeing everyone left and right of me. They're touching me. They're that close. So this lens can't do that. So what am I going to, once they run in, unclick, put a wide one? Hold on,
stop,
everyone.
Stop. Yeah. Everyone stop. Collaborate and listen. Mo was back with the brand.
Some people shoot with 2 cameras. I don't shoot with 2 cameras. I shoot with 1, and I can switch my lenses pretty quick. But I would need a 17 I use a 16 to 35 to get really, really close shots.
And how much does that 16 to 35 go for Canon? Because I'm thinking about just buying an adapter and start picking up Canon lenses.
I would say maybe if you're picking up the 17 to 40 would be a good used lens, because you could get that maybe for $500. This thing's a $250, but I got it for $150 on sale. This is the Sigma MC11 adapter, and for anyone moving from Canon, this thing works great. The only thing is in lower light, it struggles a little bit. Your lenses will struggle a little bit, but that's a great entry into the Sony system. And I was going to mention one last lens. We were having this discussion earlier, like, hey, what's the sweet spot for a lens purchase? And we know it's not $2,500, and $500 makes you happy when you're getting quality like this. But I want to point out that this lens I got for $250 on Black Friday-ish or some kind of cyber sale.
What lens is that, Omar?
This right here is sponsored by the 85mm 1.8 by Canon. Super old lens. I think it's like 20 plus years old. And the only negative about this lens is if you shoot with a white background, horrible chromatic aberrations. Like you're going to get purple fringing.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everyone's purple. Bunch of grimaces.
But I use this, and I use the G Master, and they're both super sharp on the Sony. So talk about a $250 plus the adapter, $150. What's the math there?
That's a lot of $150s.
It's like $4,000. Anyway, a lot cheaper. The sweet spot for lenses, I'm sad that a lot more companies don't do stuff that are like $250, $300, you know. But this Tamron, what are your thoughts on it? I mean,
I've used it at 2 events now. Every time I look at my files, I'm like, wow.
pores.
I don't expect that much quality from an aftermarket lens.
Remember, aftermarket lenses sucked. You wouldn't even look at
Tamron
them.
and Sigma
Tamron sucked.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Buy me a Coke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was exactly that. You wouldn't buy a Sigma. You wouldn't buy a Tamron. Then Sigma came out with their art
Art
lens.
series. Yeah.
And
Have
then
you
you're
ever owned an art series lens?
Yeah, I had the 50 for the Nikon.
Oh.
And I loved it, but it sat in my bag.
Yeah.
So-
it's my number one. I shoot like 80%, the 50 millimeter.
I was
1.4.
hoping that they would come out with that for the Sony, but they kind of did, didn't they, with the like extended tube? And I'm like, get out of here.
Get
with
out of
that.
here, please.
Just sell me
it's
your,
the same thing.
Sell me your lens with a new tube. That's all that is.
It totally is. It's just
Fool
an
me
extended
once.
distance.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have the adapter, so. But the aftermarket lenses, man, they're starting to get really good.
They've come so far. I mean, to think when this lens was announced, I said, well, I already owned the older version for Nikon, and it was such a hit and miss lens. Like if it would never pinpoint focus all the time. It served its purpose before I was able to afford the 24-70 by Nikon 2.8. So I rocked it until I was able to get the 24-70 by Nikon, and it did the job. But I always felt like once I got the Nikon, I saw the difference in I was like, wow, big difference. So when this lens was announced, I'm like, all right, whatever, keep it moving.
Yeah, it's plastic.
And then everyone
cheap.
started saying like, no, come watch my video. Let me tell you how beautiful this lens is. I'm going to wax poetically about this lens for days. Every person who reviewed this lens complained about one thing. Was the low light focusing and focus breathing where it would not
for video.
Yeah. So besides that,
oh, there was one more. There is no switch for manual to autofocus, and that's a big hang up for me until I found this out. I set on my camera a button which will toggle autofocus to manual focus. So now I have this middle button on the back of the wheel. If I hit that, the lens completely turns manual. And in case there's an emergency where you need to, like, let's say they're doing the horror chair and it can't find focus, I can hit that button. And if you ever look in the EVF, you can even zoom in, manually focus on someone's watch or something, and then just start firing.
Let me ask you a question since you brought up the custom button. Are you impressed with the number of ways you can customize the buttons on the Sony?
I am. Sometimes it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
like if I switch them around, it's like, what does this button do?
It's a 2 week. We have to take 2 weeks to relearn what you just switched.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's amazing how customizable the layout is, and also dangerous.
It is a little dangerous, but
like too much power.
I will tell you, man. I hope cameras are not going in the direction of this. Look at the back of this. Look at the difference between the Fuji XT30 and what they did with the XT20. Do you see? What did they get rid of?
The very important little clicky wheel thing, the little
D-pad,
the clicky button things.
Yeah. So you know what was quote what replaced that?
The nipple.
No. So yeah, the nipple.
The little nipple.
You're the only one that calls it that. It's known as a dick stick. No, I'm just kidding. It's known as the joystick.
There goes all our subscribers.
Oh, hey, goodbye, guys. We are down to 0. They replaced it with gestures. So now if I want to like change my film simulation, I have to go like this. And then I have to like try to pick. And
So will your cheeks set that off?
yes.
I got fat cheeks.
If you're like, hey, like if your cheek swipes on there, hey, this is a great picture. But you know what your cheek does? Your nose touches, it moves the focus point around. So look, the focus point's in the corner. Touch technology is not as good on these cameras as it is on phones and things.
Just let's take that whole separate. Touch technology is not the answer for everything.
You're right.
And that's the thing. Everyone wants to. I don't want. What's easier than? Is it easier
button.
to touch, or is it easier to move with one button and you know exactly where you're moving?
I know.
Because not only that, sometimes when you're on the touch panel, it hits the wrong thing, and now you have to go back.
You have to go back.
I mean, granted, you can do that with the buttons too, but not as easily.
No, not
If you accidentally bump the screen, you're 2 screens out of the way already.
Agreed. And I'm finding, I'm still holding judgment because I'm going to do a final review of these two, which should you get. But just as a spoiler, the missing buttons is a big hang up and maybe a big hang up for some people.
Knowing Omar, as I know Omar, I already know which one he's going to recommend. Just saying.
No spoilers, man. Wait, back to buttons. What's your number one customized button? The one that you feel that is worthy to not be changed anymore?
Oh, my eye focus. Which is which is that one?
AEL button.
So, so I use that for my auto eye focus.
Man, that's great.
And that's it. That's the one button that never has been moved. Since.
And I'm a portrait photographer, so that's what I'm using mostly.
That's my focus button.
Totally.
So
I found out that remember we talked about in low light you can have a zone, and the camera is pretty smart at picking stuff up. I found that if it sees a face, because I've been practicing in my office here, there's no people except for Superman. For some reason, the camera realizes that Superman is a face, because I guess he doesn't have a mask on, or is not the Hulk.
That's no face.
Yeah, but if you have a zone on, it will pick up Superman's chest, but then it sees a face, and it will, if you have face priority set to on, you can have the camera set to zone, and then, hey, I saw a face.
Every week since I've had this camera, I'm learning something new about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what you should do as a photographer. You should keep learning until you don't know. There's nothing left to learn about your camera. And you telling me this, something new I just learned. The priority release, that was something I learned last week.
Yeah.
So keep, moving forward and learning. And
you got to pick up your camera and
stop shooting auto, and stop being lazy. Like, you challenge yourself by challenging yourself with the camera. Like, find something that it does and then practice with it.
I think I may be the exception, but last night I was in bed. My wife's reading next to me, and I had this with the flashpoint flash on top, the Sony one, because I was like military, like take it, how they Forrest Gump puts the gun together. I was as quickly as possible trying to turn on and turn off groups for flashes. So I was running through it, and I could do it almost without looking. So I know button memory now that if I had to look, I can hit this, 1, 2. I memorized all the number of button pushes and where they were.
The Forrest Gumps of photographers.
Yeah. And I think if you obsess about things like that, you will be greater. You always want to strive to really do things as fast as possible, because people won't judge you on your photography when you're shooting. They will only judge you on your control of gear, demeanor, and how you look at them and stuff. And if you have grasp of your gear, you're having a great time.
And they don't even know what's going on.
They don't know what's going on, and you're like,
you can do it in like a NASCAR race, and just
that's totally Actually, it's funny you say that. Instead of the military and the Forrest Gump was a bad analogy. A better analogy was I was watching a Netflix special with F1 racers, and they sit in simulators with their eyes closed, and they memorize the tracks every turn. So they have 2, 3, 4. There's a left here, and the guy's like, and he knows the gears he's going to switch. They memorize the tracks because they got to race in extreme conditions.
It has to be first thought, not second nature.
Totally. So do you do any practice like that?
No.
I know. I was yelling at you at the last one.
Well,
I was like...
It's harder for people who have 9 to 5s and are trying to do this on the side too. So
yeah, I'm 100% for that. Like, the YouTube's photography, our podcast is photography, my business is photography, and then on my downtime, I'm reading and learning photography, watching creative lives. I'm obsessed.
Downtime is spent on videos, learning what's going on, what else can my camera do, how can I put it to use. But the practical application of it doesn't usually come into play until I'm actually there.
Yeah, that's true. You can read the manual, but then when you got to put it into practice.
I don't have a Hulk and a Superman over there. And
Yeah, well, I definitely obsess, and I think about, I try to envision what would happen if, you came up with a great one. Where's the damn light? The AF
assistance.
So Moe at the last event, we already had our super dark event, and then so we came in and we had a cocktail hour, which wasn't bad at all at first, But then people filled up the space so much that they blocked
all the surrounding light. I've never seen that before. Where there's light, there's so much light. Omar, please put one of the photos from the stage. There was so much light onto the cocktail area, bleeding from the stage because the stage was so brightly lit.
Yeah.
But the windows that allowed that light to come through were blocked by humans.
By people. So you come in and there's like no ambient whatsoever.
Remember we said before it was dark?
Hold on 1 second. So crazy dark.
It was so dark. We said it was dark last time, and we meant it.
Yeah,
it was
but
dark.
This was dark. But then Moe came up with, this is where on the fly, Moe changed, because Sony's you should shoot in continuous. They work better in continuous autofocus. But Moe on the fly switched to single. I was like, what, you crazy? He switched to single, and he found the AF beam.
Assistant light, yeah. And I'm like, look at that. I can see people.
So on the fly, you came up with a solution. Yeah. I feel like I have to sort of get in the simulator more and sort of come up with situations like that.
I've had so many things blow up in my face that I'm just used to, like, what do I do now?
What do I do quick?
Like, it got so bad that even zoning with the focus, even there was just zero light for the lens to pick anything up. So I had to quickly think, you know what, we're gonna have to go to single, and we're gonna have to get that AF light out there.
That's totally right.
It did save everything. It made a big difference. The other thing about that level of darkness was that, I mean, I was still impressed that with that little light, people weren't seeing me hit them with it.
Cool, the little red light.
It was orangey, it was nice. Which then led me to say, why did they then put on their $8,000 flash? All right, about $600. Their $8,000 flash. Why did they put? Did I say lens before? $8,000 lens.
I don't know, but go ahead.
So then that made me ask, why did they put on their $600 flash? Why did Sony put bright LEDs?
Oh, it's like a flashlight, right?
It's like a little flashlight that they don't understand that as a photographer, an event that's dark, you want to be inconspicuous. You want to capture a moment. You don't want to alert someone that you're about to take a picture of them. Because what's the first thing that happens? They go,
yeah, oh yeah, and then they try to pose and stuff.
So you got like half blurred shot, and you know. I think as manufacturers of flashes, you should always put infrared whenever possible. I don't understand the LED. Maybe I have to read more, and they'll tell me a reason behind it.
At least they made the LED red, that comes off the camera.
Not the ones on the flash, though.
Not the one on the flash,
so
but
bright.
I mean, listen, honestly, most people don't tell Sony this. Most people are using aftermarket flashes like Flashpoint and Godox.
But unfortunately, then they lose the infrared.
Yeah,
and that's why I had to shoot with their single.
I forgot to tell you this. Godox came in, and Flashpoint are coming out with a new trigger that has infrared on it. If you shoot,
is it the XT something? Or
2. It's like the XT2 Terminator.
Nothing wrong with us.
Best soundtrack right now.
Into Spider-Verse.
Have you listened to it?
I've listened to it once, but I'm not going to be able to spew anything. When I left here, I downloaded it, and I listened to it on the way home.
Terminator, one of the best soundtracks. Indiana Jones. I mean, John Williams sounds the same in everything, but he has great, iconic soundtrack.
Who's the guy who did Dark Knight? Zinger for?
Oh, Hans Zimmer, bro. He's great. Dunk.
And we're not talking about the R&B vocal soundtrack. We're talking about the actual movie music cues that you hear that tell you to get hyped up. That tell you that you're sad. Music in a movie is your cues.
Oh man!
And when it's done perfectly, you don't even realize it
completely.
That you're like being sucked in by the music to cry now.
My favorite type of hero music is that rung, anything that's very drummy. That's not the word. Percussive.
I appreciate that.
I prefer drummy, actually.
I actually like the Avengers theme. when it goes in, dun, dun, whatever it goes. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it starts with cello. It's like I'm trying to think of when.
And the first, we forget about it.
All right.
But the first badass superhero movie theme was Wonder Woman's. I don't care what anyone says. And then I heard how it was composed with all those weird different
synthesizer violin lady.
That's like, wow, that's crazy.
I don't know. I Danny Elfman, Spider-Man, the original Sam Raimi. It goes. It starts with. We'll play it here, like a second of it, but it sounds spidery. Like he must. I love that he must have been like, all right, what can I play? So he played all these like little.
You ever think that like John Williams is over there looking at Danny Elfman like, really, sir, really, sir? That's what we're doing here.
Damn, best soundtrack is the Superman theme. Yeah. I mean, he wrote the soaring like. Wait, that's Indiana Jones.
They're all the same.
Superman is
with Indiana Jones.
Come on, Superman is.
I mean, that's Star Wars.
No.
That was Star Wars.
It's John Williams sounds the same. All right, and then Thomas Newman. Do you know him?
No.
Bruh.
I know his work. I don't know him.
Thomas Newman, he does more sensitive kind of. He did Finding Nemo. He does all kinds of. His stuff is great. You gotta get it.
We're not gonna pretend that my level of soundtrack love is at your level.
Damn, I used to buy the albums as a kid. I had Raiders of the Lost Ark on LP and would with the needle play it straight through and sit on my couch and be like, "This is where the basket chase is."
You're homeless.
This is Marion's theme.
No, I was never that.
No,
I'm more that way with video games.
Okay,
where I actually get. I think video game composers also are like so underrated.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'll get more into that, like the themes of like Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, stuff like that. Like it's like weird that hearing that I think more of wow, this is very enjoyable as opposed to the movie, which is only recently with you that I rediscovered how much I do appreciate a good movie soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was playing for Moe. I was playing Into the Spider-Verse. And the actual like R&B songs are good, but the guy who composed he did a great job.
When you put on the Prowler.
Oh, that was like
like right instantly hearing that, I thought the Prowler bouncing off the wall. Oh, spoilers. Did you watch it, folks?
Anyway, let's go, bud. Let's go get some coffee.
Awesome.
We only record one at a time.
We never doubled up.
But we're going to get some coffee and, I don't know, maybe talk some more.
Conversation is delicious.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. That was a great episode.
We're done.
Forget
Goodbye.
you.
The show's over. I quit.
Cheers.
Salud.